So I just gave a little brief description on the group yesterday about, you know, this interconnectivity. And obviously it's becoming more and more apparent how interconnected we are to absolutely everything around us, that meaning our own environments, each other, you know, the planet we live on, the cosmos out there, and how everything's interconnected inside and around us, but then also that interconnectivity inside us, how our body, our mind, and our soul are so intimately connected. And especially now, maybe because we are, you know, in shamanic tradition, what they're saying is that we're moving from the fifth sun to the sixth sun, and it's basically a cycle that was very external previously, and now we're moving to a cycle that's becoming increasingly more internal, which is slightly different in where our focus is. And so I think we are all becoming a bit more aware of how we are interconnected inside ourselves. And what we're going to explore today is mostly, you know, how, when we in the postures, if any kind of, you know, other thoughts come up and we get pulled out of our body, how then it's impossible to make a muscle work. If we wanted to, for example, today we're going to work a lot with drawing the quadriceps and the hamstrings up, the thigh muscles, but they go offline for most of us all the time. And especially when we're not focused in our bodies and we're not kind of present on our mat, then it's very difficult to get that kind of activation. But another thing that also happens is when we, let's say we're in a more passive posture and it's a floor stretching posture, what can often happen is that we start thinking about something in the past or something in the future, something that somebody said, or we start comparing ourselves, and we all do this. I mean, it's just, that's the habitual thinking of the mind. But when it happens, it immediately starts locking up our fascia. And then instead of opening up or stretching, morning Tana, instead of opening up or stretching that area that we want to stretch, it starts locking up, because now we're trying to stretch, let's say, you know, our inner thigh, but the mind is contracted and it's thinking about something else. So the message can't go through to the muscle that we're trying to open up, because we're worried about what does that person think, or what did I say, you know, and we all do this. But so just noticing is already, you know, halfway of the transformation. Just the awareness of, like, what am I thinking about while I'm in my yoga practice? And then that goes into like our daily lives, because you become aware of, let's say you're driving and you're thinking of something stressful, and if you notice, you'll probably notice that your shoulders are contracting and you're hunching forward, and it's like, oh wow, you know, over time, if the mind is left unchecked and it just continues to, you know, habitually think about all these things, there are patterns that form in the physical body, because you know, our fascia wraps around all our muscles and all our organs, and we fascially connected from our tongue to our big toe, basically. Some of you have worked with me where we went over the deep core line, for example, that Tom Myers identifies. So they've cut open cadavers, and they've seen how the fascia is actually one piece. So this connective tissue, like, literally connects everything in the body. And connective tissue, this fascia, has even more nerve endings than the irises in our eyes. That's how nerve connected the fascia is. So now you must know, like, all your muscles and your organs and everything is wrapped with this fascia. And when the mind sends a signal from the brain through the nervous system and it goes into the body, and then it comes back from the body back into the brain, it goes through the fascia. It goes, that's one of the communication channels where it goes through. So if our minds have locked our fascia and we've tied ourselves into a knot, then over time, that knot becomes so strong that the knot that the fascia makes reinforces that habitual mind pattern. And so that's how the body and the mind kind of, you know, creates this perpetual knot that we try and iron out. But if we just iron it out on our mat, and then it goes back, it locks back into, you know, position where it was before, because that's the habitual pattern. So over time, the more we become aware of it, the more we can kind of give it space and keep the knot untied. Because when the knot is tied, you know, all of you have experienced this, when you have a yoga practice where you feel like literally you're just divining you downloading like this divine energy, and you become a complete channel for like the spirit, you know, and you're just in this ecstatic space. And then other times you might do exactly the same practice, but there's like a blockage, and you can't get that like complete flow of your soul energy coming through, because the body and the mind is locked. So and it's just cultivating the awareness of it. And then the big thing that I see is not to judge it, because you know, that's what we all do, and I can certainly see myself do it. I notice how I lock, and then I judge that I'm locking myself. So then that creates, that also perpetuates the pattern. So it's like you notice it, let it go, and just be grateful that you're starting to see that the patterns are there. And that's how we can kind of unravel our knots in our body as we go along. So yeah, just to give that as a background. So just use today's practice to observe, you know, just observe this body-mind connection and how it interconnects. So we're going to start, and I'd just like to show you before we begin. Some of you might need a rolled blanket, and then if you have a knee kind of niggle, what I would suggest is that you take a scarf behind the knee. So this is one way of working with it. Otherwise, just to prevent any knee stuff, when you're coming into Siddhasana, you take your hand behind your knee and you take the top of the foot and you're going to turn it in. And we're going to come to sit in that position. But let's start by coming to sit and orientate your mat in the same direction as mine, so that you can follow me easier throughout the class. And come and sit on 2 blocks. I would suggest, even if your hamstrings are open, come and sit on 2 blocks and have them close to each other, so that you've got 1 seat out of your 2 blocks. And come and sit with 1 sitting bone on each block, and stretching your legs out in front of you in Dandasana. So just make sure you've got a blanket close by in case you need it. And then as you're seated in your Dandasana, take your hands, move your buttock flesh back so that you expose the knuckles of your sitting bones. And at any point, if you need to readjust that, if I'm not mentioning it, please do it, because you want to feel that your sitting bones are grounding you. And then bring your hands beside your body, even if it's just your fingertips touching, doesn't matter. Elbows bent slightly back, and lift up the front of your spine. Just coming into your central channel. So you want to feel the alignment of the crown of your head directly above your pelvic floor. And then drawing your thighs up, let your toes remain facing upward, and step your legs wide apart out to the side for Upavishta Konasana. So front thighs to back thighs, and feeling the lift of your toes upward to the sky. Still on your fingertips, lifting your front spine up, letting the back body release down. And now take your right hand, I'm going to mirror you behind your right knee, and pull that foot in, and turning the sole of the foot upward. And then left hand behind your left knee, and pull that leg in. Take the foot with your right hand and turn the sole of the foot up, and place your left foot in front of your right foot. I just want to let somebody in. Yeah, that looks good. And now, if your knees are not settling down to the earth, then what I would suggest is that you take your blanket and you support your shin bones, so that your knees, your whole leg can settle down. So you just bring it under the shin, so then the knees can soften. You don't want any kind of pull there. And if by any chance you feel that one block is too, like one level of blocks is too little, then you can rather stack your blocks on top of each other. But make sure that the knees can settle down. And then just relax your hands onto your thighs. Let your elbows draw backward and lift up the front of your spine. And when you're ready, let your eyes soften and just draw your attention inward. So feeling the root, the foundation of your posture as your sitting bones root down. And external rotation of your shin bones and your thigh bones, both externally rotating. Let your inner groin settle down to the earth. Upper buttock area, let it settle down towards the earth. Just broadly spread your abdomen back to your lower spine and draw your abdomen up in the direction of your chest. It's like you gently drawing the abdominal area underneath your rib cage, and then lift the front ribs, your back ribs, your side ribs, lift them up. Relax the tops of your shoulders, down your back, away from your ears. And just check in if there's any hardening in the throat. Relax your throat. Relax your jaw. Just relax your tongue so that your tongue is loose, away from the roof of your mouth and away from your teeth. Let your eyes very gently soften back and down towards your heart. And just this alignment of the crown of your head directly above your pelvic floor, so that you're in your central channel and just allowing within that central channel your breath to flow with ease in and out of the passages of your nostrils. And just feeling. So each of us, every day is so different. So you just want to feel where are you holding tension? Where can you relax a little bit more? And where are you maybe slouching, and where can you activate a little bit more? There's just these habitual patterns, and some days it comes out more than other days. So you can also just notice where your energy is today in this moment. And sometimes it's just a slight little movement that changes the posture completely. Notice your breath. And notice if the breath is getting stuck anywhere, if there's any holding or hardening in the breath. And then without disturbing yourself too much, just very, very gently let your eyes open. And then bring your legs out into Upavishta Konasana once again. So stretch into your heels, front thighs to back thighs. Your toes are facing directly upward. And those of you using a scarf for your knee, you can take it. Otherwise, left hand behind your left knee now and draw your left foot in. Take it with your right hand and turn the sole of the foot up. So you place the heel in front of your pubic bone. And then take the right side. So bringing that right foot in and place it in front of your left foot. Both soles of the feet facing up to your capacity. And then those of you using a blanket, again, bring the blanket underneath your shins. Take your hands, readjust your buttock flesh. So you want to feel that sense of grounding down. And then it's like you're coiling your tailbone up your front body to get the lift of the front body upward, and then the release of the tops of your shoulders and your upper buttocks downward So we'll take a few breaths just with this organic alignment, but bring your palms of your hands to touch in front of your sternum. Little bit, bring your thumbs a little bit lower than the bottom sternum bone. Let your elbows draw back and down so that you open up your armpit chest. And when you're ready again, let your top eyelid just very gently rest onto your bottom eyelid. Let your breath flow with ease. And each time you inhale, inhale your front body upward. And each time you exhale, exhale your back body downward. And again, just noticing in this breathing, if there is any tension coming up, or again, of any areas are kind of losing energy and slouching, just intuitively feel where do you need to activate a little more, and where do you need to relax a little more. Notice if there's any thinking how it affects your posture. Notice if there's any thinking how it affects the breath. And there's absolutely no judgment or major analysis of any of it. You're just noticing, you're just bringing awareness to this moment. We'll open with one chant of Om. Exhale completely. Inhale deeply. Bow your head to your heart. Just take a moment to acknowledge that wisdom deep inside you. And then release the backs of your hands onto your thighs. Very softly let your eyes open and then raise your head back up. And now take your legs out wide into Upavishta Konasana once again. So stretch behind your knees. Remember, if you guys see me looking that way, I'm looking at the bigger screen. And then one other thing I'd like to suggest, I'm sure all of you have this, but just make sure you're on speaker view in the right-hand corner so that you only have a screen of me. Then it's also easier to follow. And if I pin anybody, then also that will appear there. Then it's much easier to see than all the little blocks. So come up to stand and take one of your blocks, and you can just stay on your mat where you are, facing the camera, and bring your block high up into your groins and step your feet to your capacity together. So if you find that when you put your block in between your thighs, you can't squeeze your block properly with your thighs, because remember, we all have different shaped legs, then rather turn your block on one of its fatter sides, so like the medium side. But if you can feel it on the narrow side, then that should be more than good enough. But you want to really feel that you can squeeze that block with your thighs. Your big toes, your inner ankles touching. Spread your toes wide and come and stand in Tadasana with your arms beside your body, fingers facing directly down. And I'm just going to demonstrate from the side. So you want to feel that you're rooting through all four corners of your feet down. And by squeezing this block backwards, it should bring everything into position. So you should feel that your thighs are working really, really strongly. They're drawing up as you push that block backwards. You should feel that the knee caps are drawing up automatically. So it's right now, it's like you're locking the knee joint. which will unlock it in a moment. But you're squeezing that block back, and you should feel your legs start burning. Then you know you're doing it right. Automatically feel how when you squeeze that block backwards, you get this compactness of your outer hips, and the abdomen broadly settles back to the lower spine. Now, just adding that you draw this upper buttock area down. So there needs to be a little bit of an adjustment while you're squeezing that block back. And by now you should feel your legs burning. Otherwise, you need to change the orientation of your block or squeeze it harder. And then from there, bend your knees towards Utkatasana. Keep squeezing the block backwards. So your thighs remain active while your knees are being bent, okay? Send your buttocks back and down, your chest forward and up, and now bring your arms forward and up beside your ears and sit down, deep, 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 and just look straight ahead. So you want to stay in your Utkatasana, knees bent, arms are up beside your ears, reaching up, squeeze that block backwards. That's it, sit down more, buttocks back and down, chest forward and up. Keep your block squeezing back, your upper buttock area moving down, and your abdomen broadly back and up. And now for these last few breaths, lift up your front ribs, lift up your back ribs, and lift up your side ribs. And keep turning the outer upper arm area forward so that you can more easily release the tops of the shoulders away from your ears. Throat soft, breathe into the power of your legs. So this is what it feels to keep the thighs active and bend the knees simultaneously. Okay, and then inhale, come up to standing. Just remove your block and hold it in one of your hands so that you can get the blood flow back into your legs. I don't know if any of you know, like Thai massage, when they sometimes close the blood and then they let it flow again. So you get a nice flush on your whole pelvic and your leg area. We're going to do it again. So now bring that block in between your thighs, high up into your groin area. Step your feet together. Make sure they touch to your capacity. If you have a different kind of leg, it might not be touching, but you want to go for moving towards the touch. And your block is as high up into your groin area as you can. Now stand in Tadasana, mountain pose. Stretch into your fingers and squeeze your block backwards. So strongly get that action. And this is how you break into a sweat, just standing in Tadasana. So let me see, I'm gonna spotlight somebody. Ilanya, I'm gonna use you. I'm gonna spotlight you. Squeeze that block backwards. That's it, very nice, yes. That's it, and now feel how, just by squeezing that block backwards, how the thighs activate, how the kneecaps lift, how your outer hips become compact, how that broad spread of the abdomen happens back to your lower spine. Now just adding, moving the upper buttock area down and lift your chest up. And now from there, begin to bend your knees. I'm back on me. Bend your knees. Yeah. Now reach your arms up and sit down deep into your Utkatasana and holding it there. So your upper buttock area moves down and your abdomen moves broadly back and up. And then see, can you bring your buttocks more down, your chest forward and up, arms back behind your ears. Squeeze your block strongly. That's it, very nice. Kari, I'm going to spotlight you girls. So really soften the face, find that balance between doing the effort, but also being effortless, enjoying the work in your legs. And then upper buttocks down, abdomen broadly back and up. Lift your front ribs, lift your back ribs, lift your side ribs up. Super nice. Take a few more breaths here, rolling the outer upper arm area forward. Release the tops of your shoulders down your back, away from your ears. See if you can straighten your arms a little more. Sit down a tiny little bit deeper, feeling the work in your legs. And then from there, release, come up to standing. Well done. Remove your block, keep it in your hand. So basically the illustration of that is when we are in Uttanasana, folding forward, when we are in Trikonasana, any of the postures, you want to have a combination of the thighs drawing up and a tiny little bit of a micro bend from the back of the knee. But what happens when we bend the knee is we lose the lifting of the thighs. And what happens if we lock the knee, then it's damaging to the knee joint. So you want to micro unlock, but keep the thighs active in all of the postures that we're going to do. So I'm going to ask you to come a little closer to the camera, but take your block. For those of you who have wooden blocks, rather take a foam, and you're going to come and sit just to observe with your feet together, and you're going to take your foam or your soft block between your heels and your sitting bones. So in Vajrasana, so that your shin bones are plugging directly into your knees. So all of the joints are so connected. So just for those of you who didn't get it, we're sitting with a block or with your foam between the heels and this buttocks. And you're just a little bit closer to your camera because I'm going to demonstrate the next part while you sit in this posture so that you're not wasting your time, but you're actually getting a good stretch out of it. And so the ankles, the knees, and the hips are very much interconnected. And so sometimes the stuff that goes funky in the knee or the hip actually comes from the ankles. So I know, for example, even my scoliosis is related to my one foot. So it's also, this is all the fascial interconnection. So while you're seated and you're closer to the camera, observing what we're going to do after you come out of that posture. So it's going to be lying down, having a belt close by, and having your block on your right side. So the angle of the block when you go into the posture later is facing slightly downward, but you want it free at first. So the first part of this is going to be a figure of 4. The little toe side of the foot in the center of the thigh, it softens the effect on the knee. When the leg goes over, it's quite strong on the knee joint. So there, and then you're going to loop through. If you can't quite hold, then what you can do is just hold behind the thigh. And if your body lifts up, then you put something underneath you so that you can rest all the way back. Then we'll come with the leg up. So Supta Parangusasana. Then this is where you're going to bring the block in. So the block is there to keep your pelvis level. So you don't want it too far away so it doesn't have an effect. You also don't want it too close because then it's restricting your movement of your leg out. So it has to be in a place where it supports you. So mine can come a little bit closer now. Leg out to the side. And coming back. And then a Parvanmuktasana twist. Then we'll come with both knees back. And we'll repeat on the other side. Finally, once you've done all of that, keeping your neck straight, you're going to roll backwards and forwards. So some of you might even want to be here and just give yourself like a nice stretch in your back. Otherwise, you can rock forward and backwards and do that. And then from there, we'll come into dog stretch and into Uttanasana. Okay, so where you are now, there might be quite strong sensations coming up into your legs and your ankles. Doesn't matter where you are, you just stretch it out into a dog stretch. So just walking it out, just let your feet release. And once you feel that you've walked your feet out, then come into Uttanasana. Nice wide-legged, you can bend your knees because you might not have both your blocks there. And then hands onto your hips, come up and make your way onto your mat. And make sure that you've got a belt, because some of you might need a belt for your foot, and you've got a block on your right side. And then come and lie down on your back. Come lie down with your knees bent, your feet flat onto the earth. Let your lower back settle into the earth. And then from there, cross your right leg so that you bring the little toe side of your right foot onto the center of your left thigh. So it's like a figure of 4 that you're creating. Bring your right hand through that loop and your left hand around, and either hold the shin bone or hold onto the back of your left thigh. If you find that your head is high up, then use your other block or your blankets behind you so that you've got support to lie onto. And then holding it there. So you're aiming to draw your right foot closer and closer to the front of your left shoulder and flex that right foot so that you bring the energy into that outer hip area. But you can let your left foot can relax, but the right foot is active. Yeah. And then as you stay and you breathe, see if you can come a little deeper. So Ruth, wrap your right arm through that loop and your left hand around. I'm going to show you, I'm going to spotlight Joel. And you see there, so you bringing the right arm through, the left arm around. So that you're holding fully onto, hold a little bit lower onto your shin. Yeah, and interlock your fingers around the shin as you draw it closer. Check in with what's happening with the sacrum, and if there's any imbalance in the sacrum, then just find how can you move your body to bring it back into a little bit of balance. Explore now that you're on the floor where your mind is. Maybe earlier on there wasn't that much of a capacity when you were squeezing that block to think about so much else, but now there's silence again. And just notice, are you still present? And then from there, step your left foot onto the floor. So take hold of your right foot, either with your hands or you take your belt around the ball of your right foot. Keep your left knee bent for the moment and straighten up your right leg. If you find you're holding onto your foot and your arms are pulling up out of your shoulder sockets, or you can't straighten your leg, then that's an indication that you need to take a belt around the ball of your foot. And those of you just using your hands, hold on with both your hands onto your foot. So your one hand is on the little finger, little toe side, and the other hand is on the big toe side. Keeping your left knee bent for the moment. So, and first straighten out that right leg. Check that your upper arms are connected into your shoulder sockets. And now from there, slide your left leg away from your upper body. Extend into both of your heels fully. Super, have you got a belt? I think it's going to be a bit more comfy. Yeah. Want to try and straighten that leg to your capacity. Both legs front thigh to back thigh. And now take your block and just bring your block to the outside of your right thigh or your foam, angled slightly, ever so slightly down to the foot end of your mat. And then take both loops of your belt into your right hand and slowly bringing that right leg out to your right side. So you want that block to support the outer hip in such a way that you can keep the left side of your sacrum rooted. So it's just a little bit of support, not too far away, not too close, just in the right place. And extend into both your heels, straighten both your legs, front thighs to back thighs. Move your abdomen from your right to your left side and root your left shoulder blade down. And then drawing that right foot in the direction of your right shoulder, while externally rotating that femur in the hip socket. So that outer thigh, roll it down towards the foot end of your mat. Now from there, bring your right leg back up. Take the belt with both your hands. One more time, stretch that leg out. And then from there, release your belt and hug your right knee in towards your chest. Your left leg still remains on the floor. Bring your right arm out to your right side. And now with your left hand, take that right knee across to your left side. So Parvan Muktasana, twist. Pin the knee down. See how far can you take the knee down? It's a little bit of a different way to do it, but pin it down. Even if the right shoulder lifts up a little bit, that's fine. Then you root your right shoulder blade down. So you find that balance once you've taken it across, and feel that cross stretch. Notice the relationship between your shoulder and your spine, your hip. Keep your head in neutral for today. And then from there, come back to the center and hug both of your knees in towards your chest. And then step your feet onto the earth. Keep your right knee bent as it is. And now take your left leg, cross your left ankle over your right thigh. Take the little toe side of the foot to your right thigh. And then loop your left hand through that loop and your right hand around. And then hold either onto the shin bone if it's possible, or hold on to the back of your thigh. And if your head lifts up, then please use something for support under your head. Like what Jill has here, that's very good. But activate that left foot, draw the toes into the midline. So you get more of a sensation on that outer hip. And then you're drawing that left foot towards your right front shoulder by drawing that right shin bone in. You want to see how much can you bring that closer to you. And you interlocking your fingers. If it's around the shin bone, it's just a little bit beneath the knee. So it's not on the knee joint and it's not all the way down the shin. It's like in a place where you can easily hold it. So again, Ruth, bring your left hand through that loop and your right hand around the shin bone. So you hold on to your right shin. So you bringing your hand through and hold onto the front of the shin of your right shin. So if you have a look here on the screen, if you should be able to see Joel. And so your left hand comes through that little loop and your right hand comes around. Yes, that's it. Yeah. And now hold your right shin. Hold on to your right shin with both your hands. Yes. Keep going. Other hand. Yes, that's it. Yeah. Hold on. Yes. And then you pull that right shin closer. Yes, that's it. Check in with both sides of your sacrum. And again, notice where your mind is, especially in these silent moments. Are you still present? Then step your right foot down onto the floor and take your left leg up. either taking the belt around the foot or taking your hand and holding onto the foot. So you're holding on with the hands onto the foot. Ruth, I'm going to spotlight you for a moment. So that's it. And your right knee for the moment is bent. Your left leg is up. First, straighten that left leg out fully. Make space behind that knee joint. That's it, Joel. Yeah, that's, yes. Keeping the upper arms plugged into your shoulder sockets, the backs of your shoulder blades into the earth. And then slide that right leg away from your upper body. Keep both legs straight and extend into your heel bones. That's it. Front thighs to back thighs. That's it, Ilonia. Luca, you can straighten your right leg now. Yes, that's it. Jill, also you can straighten your right leg. Bring it on the floor here. Opening up the space behind your knee joint. Bring your block onto the outside of that left thigh now. And slightly angled down to the foot end of your mat. And then take both hands and hold, take both loops of your belt into your left hand. Bring your right arm out to the right side in line with your shoulder. And now take your left leg out to the left side. Extend into both your heels equally. And you want to feel that that belt is supporting your outer hip. Just want to see, yeah, that's it, very nice. So abdomen broadly moving from your left to your right side so that you root your right shoulder blade down. That right side stays heavy down to the earth. Drawing that left foot towards your left shoulder, but externally rotate that left femur bone in the hip socket so that the outer left thigh draws towards the foot end of your mat. Bring your left leg back up. Hold the belt with both your hands one more time. Just straighten that leg out. And then release your belt and hug your knee in towards your chest. Bring your left arm out to the left side. And then from there, take your right hand and take that left knee across. That's it, Megs. I've got you on the spotlight. Pin that left knee down onto the floor. And then you bring that left shoulder blade down. It's a slightly different way of doing it. You should feel a good cross stretch. So essentially, you're letting that left shoulder blade lift initially, and then you try to draw it back towards the earth. Keep your head in neutral. And notice just how things are connected, the shoulder, the spine, the hip. And from there, come back to the center. Hug both your knees in towards your chest. Hold on to your shin bones and now begin to rock your body forward and backwards a few times until you rock yourself all the way up into your dog stretch, Adho Mukha Svanasana. I've got you and Kari on the screen. Spread your fingers wide. Those of you wearing socks, now is probably a good time to come off your socks, out of your socks. Very nice, Luca. That's it. Yeah, beautiful. So spreading the fingers wide. Check that your index fingers are facing forward directly. All your other fingers are out to the side. Externally rotate your upper arms. Yeah, nice. And now front thighs to back thighs. Open up that space behind your knee joint, just as you did earlier on when you were lying on the floor. Open up that space behind the knees. And now imagine that you're squeezing a block between your thighs backward. And as you do that, feel the activation of the kneecaps, the thighs drawing up, like you're drawing the thigh muscles, nice Ruth, onto the thigh bones, and then plug your thigh bones back into your hip sockets. And as you squeeze that invisible block, feel the compactness of your outer hips, the broad spread of your abdomen back to your lower spine. And keeping that connection of your abdomen back to your lower spine, and then draw it up in the direction of your rib cage. Keeping the rib cage open, move your chest more towards your thighs and your thighs more away from your chest. So some of you might need your blocks here. You're going to walk your feet forward into Uttanasana. Feet together, let your upper body fold forward. Feet together, thighs drawing up, inner groins rolling back. If it's difficult to keep the legs straight and the spine straight, then rather use your block. And now notice what's happening with the legs. So can you do what we did earlier on and draw the thighs up? Nice, Meggies, yes. Keep it online. Keep the thighs drawing up. But at the same time, there's that slight little micro bend from the backs of the knees. So you want to do Tadasana and Utkatasana simultaneously. Can you do both of those actions we did earlier on together? You're squeezing your block back so your thighs lock. So initially you get that lift of the kneecaps, a lift of the thighs. But then there's a tiny little bit of a micro bend, like you're doing a mini Utkatasana. And can you keep that, both those actions simultaneously? Can you be so in your body in this moment that you retrain your fascia to maintain both of those? That's it, Anal, yeah. Abdomen broadly back to your lower spine. Now keep rooting down through the soles of your feet. Keep the thighs drawing up with that tiny little bit of micro bend. Your legs are so steady, like they were earlier on in Tadasana. And then abdomen back to your spine. Inhale, reach your arms up. Urdhva Hastasana. And then coming to stand in Tadasana. And just coming a little closer to the camera to observe the next sequence. So some of you, if your knees are sensitive, you might want a folded blanket close by. So, and use your blocks for your Uttanasana. We're going to do a sun salutation here. So again, when you jump back, those of you jumping, you can either step or jump. Bring your hands forward of your feet so that you lean your body weight into your hands, and then from there you jump back into your dog stretch. Coming forward into plank, and some of you can drop your knees down here or chaturanga and try roll both toes simultaneously as you come up into Urdhva Mukha, or you can drop down if you're protecting your lower back. And then the first round, we're going to step the right foot forward, and here's where you might need your blanket. You can put your knee on a blanket, toes are tucked under on that back foot, hands onto your hips to start. And then some of you might want to use your block but I find my arms are quite long, so I can take my hand and just bringing it out in line with the right hip. So watch that when you do that, that the knee's not dropping in or out, and then this left arm coming up and over. I'll just show you from the other side also, so you can see. So we're going to open up this whole psoas line from the inner thigh all the way along the pubic bone, and it attaches to the lower the lower back ribs and the front side of the lower back ribs. And then you can lean forward and backwards and just feel that opening, and we're going to hold it for some time. Then bringing the hands down, stepping back into dog stretch, coming forward, and then we'll do the other side. Okay, so keep your mat as it is for now, because we're going to do standing postures in a bit. And I'll just talk you through it. Come and stand at one end of your mat in Tadasana. So all the time while you're in that flow, feel like you're squeezing a block between your thighs. And now on the next inhalation, reach your arms up. Exhale, Uttanasana. So immediately check, are you still drawing your thighs up with that little micro bend from the backs of your knees, and stay here and drop your head. Those of you needing, you'll use your blocks. So squeezing the thighs back like you've got a block between your thighs. Jill, you're going to have to stand at the other side of your mat, because we're going to jump back into dog stretch. So on the next inhalation, opening up your collarbones, bring your hands flat onto the floor. So lean your body weight forward into your hands. You bend your knees as much as you need to. And now either step or take a hop back into dog stretch, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Very nice, that's it. Draw up your thigh muscles onto your thigh bones. Inhale, come forward into Palakasana, plank pose. Hold it there. So for the toes to be able to roll, you need your hands and your feet a good distance apart from each other. And then from there, on the next exhalation, come into Chaturanga, elbows back, chest forward. Inhale, roll forward and up. Yes, that's it, Megs, over the toes. Lift your chest up. Exhale, massage your toes as you go back into dog stretch. Now from there, step your right foot forward into a lunge and drop your left knee down onto the floor, keeping the toes tucked under. Some of you might want to take your blanket under your knee and come up with your hands onto your hips. Imagine that you're still squeezing a block between your thighs, upper buttocks down, abdomen broadly back and up, ribs lifted up. Now you might need a block. You're going to bring your right hand in line with your right hip. If you find you can't easily get the hand to the floor, then use a block. Be on your fingertips. Keep the right knee directly in the center of your mat. And then from there, reach your left arm up and all the way over the ear. And you can choose, you can either look up or you can just look straight ahead and lean slightly forward and back to find exactly where you get the deepest opening. The palm of the hand is facing down. Toop, you can lean over a little bit more. That's it. Yeah, towards Kari. Yeah, bring your hand a little bit away from your body. And you're going to get much more of an opening. Your right hand, take it more over towards Kari even. Further. Yes, bend to Kari. So you're doing like a half moon. That's it. Very nice. Breathe into that whole psoas area. And Ruth, turn your hand down. That's it. And bend, Ilanya, bend that right knee more. Keep going. So you're going deeper into your lunge while you're leaning over to the side. That's very nice. Nice, Joel, yes. Breathe into the side body. Breathe into that psoas area. And then from there, come back up, hands onto your hips. Bring your hands down onto the floor and then step back into dog stretch, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Come up onto the balls of your feet, bend your knees, lie your chest onto your thighs, look forward, press into your hands, and then on the next inhalation, hop forward, feet together. Exhale, Uttanasana, hold it here for a few breaths, check, are your legs online or are they offline? Are your thighs active? Or are you not engaging the thighs? Feel it out. Little micro bend from the backs of the knees. Stand into your feet. Inhale, reach your arms up. Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Tadasana. Drawing the thighs up. So like you're squeezing that block. And then inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, Uttanasana. Again, check in. Can you simultaneously draw the thighs up and have that micro bend from the backs of your knees? Now take your hands forward of your feet. Yeah, that's it, Megs. You can even step your feet even further back. Yeah. Come onto the balls of the feet. Root your hands down on the floor. And then as you root your hands down on the floor, bring all the pressure into your hands. And then from there, jump back into dog stretch. Very nice. That's it. Super nice. Inhale, like a wave, come forward into plank pose. Keep your head in line with your spine. So feel the connection of your core body here. Just by doing this posture, you know, how it asks you to engage your core. Otherwise, the ribs drop out. Can you hold it there? Can you feel that interconnectivity? The eyes drawing up will also help to build the core. Then the only thing that changes is your elbows go back, your chest goes forward. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, roll over the toes. Super nice. That's it, yes. Exhale, massage your toes as you go back. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Now from Adho Mukha Svanasana, step your left foot forward into a lunge. Keep your right toes tucked under and drop your right knee down. Some of you might want to take a blanket under the knee. Come and stand with your hands onto your hips. And imagine that you're squeezing a block between your thighs. So your outer hips are compact. You might need a block if you use it on the other side. Walk your left hand over in line with your left hip over to the side. But when you do that, make sure that the left knee stays centered. And then you reach your right arm up and over the ear. And lean your body over to that left side. Go slightly forward and slightly back a little bit to find the psoas. And then staying there, breathing. Your right hand, palm of your hand is facing down. That's it, yeah. And bend that left knee a little deeper as you lean tiny bit back. Keep your right arm active. It's stretching. You want to stretch over to the side as best you can. Breathe into the side body. Breathe into that whole psoas line. Spacious breath, feeling it out. Feel, where do you feel this? You're exploring. Then bring your hands back onto your hips and bring your hands down onto the floor and come into Adho Mukha Svanasana. Come onto the balls of your feet. Bend your knees, lie your chest onto your thighs. Look forward. Where are you going to go? Press into your hands. That's it, nice. Inhale, jump forward. Exhale to fold. Check with your legs. Are they online? Thighs drawing up, little micro bend from the backs of your knees. Inhale, reach your arms up. And coming to stand in Tadasana. So have a look at the camera and I would suggest maybe coming a tiny bit closer just so you can see the placement of the belt. I can find my belt. So we're going to do Trikonasana and Virabhadrasana, but we're going to do a sun salutation in between. And the work is going to require quite a lot of concentration. So I'm going to show you from the back side. So we'll jump into it and everything, but you're going to have a belt in one of your hands. And so the belt is going to come around the pit of this right thigh, and you're going to hold it as close to that right sitting bone as possible. And it's not so much that you're pulling the belt as that you're drawing the left elbow just back. So you hold the belt, but you're not making an effort to pull the belt. Just the elbow is going to go back. Now, this is where the work comes in, and it's for all of us, it's quite strong concentration to keep the thigh active and the micro bend in that knee. Because in the long run, that's going to protect the muscles, and it's going to protect your knee joint. So as you come in, you can either have the hand onto your shin, or you can have the fingers on the floor, wherever you can reach, doesn't matter. But really what you want to do is you almost want to be able to free balance here. That's how strongly your leg is working, and you're not just hanging into that knee joint. Okay, come and stand and face the camera. You're in the middle of your mat and have your belt just in one of your hands. Feet together. So already here, notice how the legs just kind of go to the beach, and I have to check myself all the time. So thighs drawing up. If you find that you can't get an activity out of your thighs, one way of doing it quite quickly is just lifting the toes up, but pushing the balls of the feet down. So that just kind of brings them a little bit more online. Slight bend in the knees, fingertips to touch. So it's like you're going into an Utkatasana position here. Abdomen broadly back to your spine, and then jump your feet apart. Turn your whole right leg out to the right side. Now, if there's any sensitivity in that left knee, then you just keep the foot facing directly forward. Otherwise, turn it in slightly. And I'll stay here for a moment. Align your torso directly above your hips. So the ribs are drawing to your left side. This outer right hip is drawing towards your left inner thigh. And I'll take your belt and bring it around your right thigh. I'm just mirroring you. And hold on. I'm going to show you from the back side. Hold on to that belt with your left hand as close to your right sitting bone as possible. So you holding it firmly, that left elbow drawing back. So you're not pulling on the belt so much as that you're just pulling that left elbow back. And now check what's happening with that right leg. So is the thigh drawing up, and at the same time, have you got a tiny little bit of a micro bend from the back of that right knee? So what the micro bend does is it just helps to orientate the kneecap so that it's in line with the middle toe. So that you want to do everything simultaneously, but watch when you bend the knee that you're not losing the connection of your thigh. Left elbow drawing back. So just stand for a moment with your right arm out, like you're getting ready to go in, and check in. Can you keep your full attention in your legs? You're drawing your thighs up, little micro bend. And now drawing that outer right hip towards your left inner thigh. Keep both sides of your body long, and either landing your right hand onto your shin or the fingertips beside your body. Drawing that left elbow to the left and back. Turn your abdomen and turn your chest open to the sky. And just look straight ahead. Keep your head in line with your spine for today. So you're not necessarily looking up. You're just looking straight ahead. Very nice. That's it. Ilanya, I'm going to put you on a spotlight there. Beautiful. Because then I can see you as well. Can you see yourself? That's great. Yeah, very nice. And now check in with what's going on with your legs. What's happening with that right knee? Have you locked it out completely and you're just hanging in it? Or are you, you're still smiling because I'm actually looking at you. See, now I can see you, a little micro bend in that right knee. That's it, yeah. And spiral your chest open while you concentrating on the foundation. You're also aware of what's happening with your upper body. Yeah, that's it, Kari. Nice, tube, that's it. Keeping the thigh active. Explore. I know we're holding it a long time. Explore. Check if it's going offline. Can you keep it online? Can you be in your body? Take one more breath there. And then from there, inhale, slowly come back up. Very nice. Remove your belt and just bring your arms out to the side, outer edges of your feet square. And now turn in the hip socket your whole left leg out to the left side. So again, at any point, if there's sensitivity in the right knee now, for example, then you just keep the toes facing forward. Otherwise, you can turn the foot in slightly. And now again, check your alignment that your torso is directly above your hips to begin with. And then take your belt and bring it around your left upper thigh. So high up into that groin area. And I'm going to show you from the back side again. So you want to hold your belt with your right hand and you take it as close to the sitting bone as possible and then pulling that right elbow to the right side. So this femur head, this left hip is drawing back towards your right inner thigh. This femur head is externally rotating. Check in with your legs. Can you activate your thighs and have a little bit of a micro bend from the back of the knee simultaneously? So for most of it, as it goes online, offline, just explore. Feel what's happening there. Can you do the two actions simultaneously? So it's paksha, pratipaksha. And what it does is it creates a banda around the knee, a lock, a seal that helps it protect the knee. Reach your left arm out to your left side. And then from there, drawing that outer left hip back towards your right inner thigh, slowly coming into the position. Your left hand either on your shin or beside your outer ankle. That's it, Ruth. Nice. I'm going to spotlight you. So turn your abdomen and turn your chest open up to the sky. Keep your head in line with your spine. And you can just look straight ahead for the moment. And now notice what's going on with that left leg. Make sure that the hand is rested, Megs. So hold on with your thumb and your index finger side of your hand, even though your weight is not down in your left hand, but you want to rest the hand. And then check. Some of you might be locking your knees out. I'm seeing some of that. So be aware if that's happening to you. And then some of you might not be activating the bending of the knee. Might be bending so much that you are not activating the quads. So you want both. You want to activate your quads and your hamstrings, and you want to have that little micro bend simultaneously. Explore. So you're observing what's happening for you. Elonia, I've got you on spotlight. Last few moments. And I'll rather come up. We're going to do the other next posture now. And then inhale, slowly come back up. And turn to the side. Release your belt completely. Just drop it down to the floor. Arms out to the side. And then jump your feet together. Come to stand in Tadasana. So we'll take a vinyasa just to get to the next posture. So come and stand at the front of your mat. We'll wash it down with a sun salutation. Feet together. Again, check out is your habit to bend so much, or is your habit to lock it out and then you lose the connection of the bending. So are you locking or are you bending too much? Can you do both? Inhale, reach your arms up. You want to feel your legs burn like you did initially. Exhale, dive your body forward. So again, check in. Keep your concentration there. How your ankles, your knees, and your hips are working together. Inhale, open your collarbones, flatten your hands down to the floor, lean your body weight into your hands, and then from there, jump back, dog stretch. That's it. Very nice. Yeah, super. Land in your dog for a moment. So check that your hands and your feet are a good distance apart from each other. Draw up your thighs. And then on the next inhalation, wave forward into plank pose. Yeah, look, that's it. Hold it there. Abdomen back to your spine. Now, chaturanga, elbows back, chest forward. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha or Bhujangasana. You can also drop your pubic bone down. So nice. That's it. Amazing. And then exhale, roll back to your heels. Wow, that's awesome, Luca. Thanks. Wow. Now come on to the balls of your feet. Lean your body weight into your hands. So look, I've got you on spotlight. It's beautiful. Look forward. Suck your abdomen back to your spine. Inhale, hop to the front of your mat. Exhale, fold, either using your blocks or hands on the floor. Stay for a moment. Again, check what your tendency is. Are you bending your knees too much? Or are you not bending enough? Are your legs online? Are they offline? Observe what's happening for you. Broadly spread your abdomen back to your lower spine. Inhale, reach your arms to come all the way up. And then coming to stand in Tadasana. I'm just thinking of the Malawian that works for us, and the Malawians are they're such beautiful people. So if they ask you, how are you? And you say, I'm very well, thank you. Then they say, thank you. It's such a beautiful, I was just thinking, because I'm thanking Luca because he was doing such a beautiful posture. But it's like, it's actually such a beautiful thing, like saying thank you, because, you know, all these wonderful gestures. So come and stand in the middle of your mat. And have your belt again, and we're going to go into warrior 2, but in that whole same flow that we did with Trikonasana. So feet together. Again, check the tendency with your legs. Keep them active and a little micro bend from the backs of the knees. Bring your fingertips to touch. Upper buttocks down, abdomen broadly back and up. And now bend into Utkatasana. And then from there, jump your feet apart. Outer edges of your feet in alignment. Turn your whole right leg out. So you turn in that femur bone. There's that full external rotation. And then now bend that right knee directly above your ankle. And take your belt and bring it around this right thigh. And hold it with your left hand. So exactly as you did before. Left elbow drawing back towards your left side. And then once you're there, take your right hand, so I'm just mirroring you, and bring it to the inside of this right thigh. Or ultimately, if you've got long monkey arms like me, you could possibly even touch your inner knee. I think Ruth can do this. So push that inner knee to outer knee. It's part of this external rotation of your right femur bone. Pull your left elbow back. Your torso is directly above your hips. You're just looking forward to the camera for now, and draw your left ribs to your left, and hold it there. So you're just staying and breathing and feeling. So notice now, some of us have the tendency to drop all the contents of this bowl, of our pelvic bowl, out. Can you keep your buttocks down and your abdomen broadly back and up? See how that happens? I've seen a few people touch themselves, because I do it all the time. I have to recheck. It's the same thing as checking when you're driving and you're doing that. You know, so now you're just checking yourself. All of you have been doing yoga for quite some time. So it's like an investigation. Hold it. Feel what's happening with your legs. Feel what's happening with your pelvis, and observe. It's like you're doing self-study. Svadhyaya. Yeah, beautiful. Very nice. And then inhale, come back up. Square the outer edges of your feet. Take your belt in your hand. And then from there, turning your whole left leg out to the left side. Turn your right toe slightly in, bend your left knee directly above your ankle. So your torso stays in the center. Take your belt now around your left thigh, high up into that groin area, and hold the belt close to your left buttock with your right hand and pull your right elbow to the right side. Then take your left hand either to the inside of the thigh, so you're pushing the inner thigh to outer thigh, or again, if you've got longer arms and you can reach your left inner knee, then push there. So inner left knee to outer left knee. It's part of this femur bone externally rotating so that you can get the action of that outer hip drawing towards your right inner thigh. And then check where your torso is. Are you leaning too far forward? Are you leaning too far back? And come into the center. Move your ribs towards your right side. And you just, for today, you're just looking forward towards the camera and explore. Feel, where do you need to activate a little more? Where do you need to loosen up a little more? Toop, you can bring your body a bit more back towards Kari's direction, but keep your knee bent. Yes, that's it, yeah. And now, again, for those of you who have this habit, which I've got certainly, see if you've dropped the contents. Suck it back in. So you coil your tailbone in and up. That also helps to get that action. And then explore what happens, you know, how are the muscles feeling on this side compared to the other side? What fascial patterns are there? What happens? Are you present in your body, or are you trying to escape the feeling? And can you just be with whatever's unfolding? Can you upright your spine? Can you come into your center? And you soften your throat and your eyes. Just exploring. So you notice your own patterning, your own conditioning. And then release from there. Turn your outer edges of your feet square. Just drop your belt. Arms reached out to the side. And now from there, jump your feet together. Coming to stand in Tadasana. Okay, so we're going to take another little flow just to let that moment go. Come and stand at the front of your mat. Draw up your thighs, little micro bend. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, Uttanasana. Then check what's happening with your legs. Inhale, open your collarbones. Bring your hands flat onto the floor, forward of your feet. Yeah, that's nice, Kari, nice too. Lean your body weight into your hands. And then from there, jump back, dog stretch, Adho Mukha Svanasana, super nice. Inhale, like a wave, come forward into plank pose, hold it there. Draw your thighs up, abdomen back to your lower spine. And then from there, exhale, Chaturanga, or lie your body down on the floor. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, lift your front spine up. Exhale, massage your toes as you roll back, dog stretch. Walk your feet in a tiny little bit. Come onto the balls of your feet. Bend your knees. Lie your chest onto your thighs. And then look forward and inhale. Jump to the front of your mat. Exhale, fold. Uttanasana. Check in with your legs. Inhale, reach your arms all the way up. And coming to stand in Tadasana. Good. Come to seated, just facing the camera, and we can go with this together. If you find that your hamstrings are very tight, you can either sit on a block, or what I would suggest for the next posture, because really you want to feel the effect more of the psoas, is I would suggest a chair rather. So if you're finding yourself tight, then I just want to demonstrate the alternative would be this. because it's not going to be so much about the hamstrings, it's more about opening the side body. Some of you might be seated on a block. Everybody else, you'll be seated onto the earth. So we can do this together. So coming to seated in Dandasana or on a chair and lift up your spine. Then take your right hand behind your right knee like you did in Siddhasana and take the foot and turn the sole of the foot up and pull that right knee quite far back. So again, if you feel any sensation in the knee, just take a scarf behind your knee. Left leg is active, front thigh to back thigh, toes facing up. And then look forward to the camera. I'll just demonstrate from there. The first part, we're going to twist. Second part, you're going to lean, you're going to hold onto that right knee and lean over as if you're trying to catch the little toe side of your left foot. But it's not necessary. You're just going to open up into the side rib area. So we'll go together from here. Turn, bring your right hand behind you. Hold on to your right knee with your left hand. Make sure that that left sitting bone is still rooting down and turn. Then bring your right arm up and from here lean your body weight over towards that left foot as if you're going to catch your left foot with your right hand. If you are catching it, lift the elbow up and bring your left shoulder to the inside. If you are on the chair, you're just reaching that right arm up and over, keeping the legs square. Breathe into your side body. And hold on strongly with that left hand onto your right knee and let your body weight take you across over to that left foot. So you can also use a belt to catch the foot, but for today, just use your body weight. It's actually also quite nice to just let that happen and spiral your chest, open up to the sky. Hold on to the little toe side of your foot if you can, Megs. Yeah, grab it. And then those of you holding on, lift your right elbow up. Your left elbow, no, your right elbow, sorry. Lift it up and come underneath that armpit. That's it. Nice spacious breathing. And then on your next inhalation, slowly come back up. Straighten your legs out in front of you. And now take behind your left knee. Take your left foot with your right hand. Turn the sole of the foot up. Bring the knee quite far back. And keeping the right leg active, front thigh to back thigh, toes facing directly upward. And then bring your left hand behind you and hold on to your left knee with your right hand. So turn around the central axis of your body. Keep this right sitting bone rooting down. And now holding on to that left knee with your right hand, take your left arm up and over. Look up to the left hand corner and you're either hanging out there or you're catching the little toe side of your right foot with your left hand and bringing that left shoulder to the inside. The right shoulder to the inside of the leg. And those of you holding on, spiral open by lifting that left elbow up. Oh, amazing, Yolanda, you're catching on this side. That's interesting difference, yeah. Nice. Otherwise, you're just leaning over. That's it. Nice, Kari. Nice tube. Turn your palm of your left hand down to the floor. Yes, that's it. Lifting that left elbow up and back as you spiral open. And then from there, release. Slowly come back up, come back into Dandasana. And I can't believe it. I mean, who do we talk to make the time go slower? Because I still wanted to go into another posture, but I think it's time for shoulder stand, unfortunately. So come and set yourself up for your shoulder stand. I'll demonstrate the classical way, but if you have a preference, so some of you, if you have your moon flow, then you will bring your legs up against the wall in Viparita Karani. So also, like I know Luca prefers not to go into halasana. You can also come, you can either chill here or you can come into your shoulder stand from there. That's one option. Otherwise, those of you doing a classical setup, if you've got your foams, you can use them. Otherwise, you can use your 2 blankets. So you'll bring 1 blanket and fold it into, what is this called, a rectangle shape. Leave some space for your head. And then the reason why it's good to use 2 blankets is because preferably you don't want your head actually on your sticky mat. It's nicer to have it on something soft. Then you can put your other blanket over. This is what you can do over your foam setup as well, those of you using foams. And then the foot end of the mat is going to come over so that you have about a thumb's distance open here for your shoulder balance. Make a loop in your belt or your scarf that is the size of your armpit to armpit. Those of you using the wall, you won't need any of the props. You can just lie with your legs up against the wall. Otherwise, your scarf or your belt is this size. If you are comfortable with going in, you can go in. Otherwise, I'll demonstrate here and you can also just follow that. So when you lie down, and check that your measurement of your tops of your shoulders is a thumb's distance away from the edge. Make sure your neck is in a straight line. And then firstly, we're going to go into halasana. Those of you who can't get your feet down on the floor, by now you know that you need a chair or the wall behind you. And then we'll meet in halasana, rocking onto the tops of the shoulders. Your belt is around one of your elbow points. And just waiting there or waiting just with your legs up onto the wall. And just conscious of where you are. Conscious of your internal space. And feel the whole back line of your body. So we're just in halasana for now with the legs over. Walk yourself onto the tops of your shoulders. Hands interlocked, and stretch your hands and your feet away from each other. Yeah, nice. That's it. Super. Very nice. Nice, Megs. I've got you on the spotlight for the moment. And then take your blanket, your belt, and bring your belt around the elbow points, the tops of your elbows. Once you've done that, turn your palms of your hands to face up to the sky. Bringing your shoulder blades deep into your back. That's it, Joel. Nice. Yeah. Then from there, bend your elbows. Those of you on the wall can also do this. Bring your hands onto your back and then stretch your legs up to the sky. If you have your moon flow, you'll just keep your legs on the wall. Walk your hands down so that they come in more down towards your shoulder blades. Yeah, that's it. And I'll bring your thighs back a little bit. Squeeze your thighs together. Yes, super nice. Middle buttocks in. And you can also bring your middle buttocks forward to your pelvis a little bit more and then front thighs back. Yes, that's it. So essentially, shoulder balance is a front body posture. So you want the front body to be open. So the legs go slightly away from your gaze. So in other words, the weight goes a little bit more into the elbows. We tend to bring too much weight into the shoulders and the neck and not enough into the elbows because it's quite heavy to hold then. Let's see, can you do that? Yeah, nice. Activate your legs, draw your thighs up. Nice, Joel, that's it. And feel which muscles are getting maybe a little lazy, which muscles are too tense, because both is a loss of power. Want to be able to feel that you are open, that you're a conduit for spirit to flow through you freely. And then from there, hollow your abdomen back to your lower spine and come into Halasana. Legs up and over your head. Change the interlock of your fingers. Legs together. Stretch your feet and your hands away from each other. You stretch the whole back line of your body. Yeah, nice. Then those of you who have a belt, remove your belt. Bring your hands down onto the floor and very, very slowly unroll yourself. You can keep your knees bent, land your feet flat on the floor and relax your head and your neck. And then just stay on your support and breathe. Just stay where you've landed, landing with your knees bent. Just feel the shift in your breath. Feeling yourself present in the moment. And then reach one of your arms up. Turn your body to the side and come up and set yourself up for Shavasana. So those of you who have appointments, just to let you know, there's only 1 minute of the class left. So if you can lie down for 1 minute, please do so. And those of you who can stay a little longer, we might go a few minutes over time, just so you know. Make sure you're comfortable. If you feel any stress in your lower back, have your foams underneath the backs of your thighs. Make sure you're warm. You want to support your head with a blanket, please do that. And just very consciously lying yourself down. And let there be a release from the inside outward. So you roll your arms out as you draw your shoulder blades down. You roll your legs out as you draw your upper buttocks down towards your heels. And use your exhalation to soften and deepen. The feeling of dropping into that equanimity, that silence. Allow your breath to become slightly fuller and deeper once again. Just an awareness of that sacred life force flowing through you. And then bend your elbows and bring your hands either to your abdomen or to your chest. Bend your knees to step your feet onto the earth. And then reach one of your arms up and roll your body onto your side. And look down to the earth. So you want to basically use your hands to push your body up from the earth and raise your head up last and come to sit in whatever position feels appropriate for you now. Your palms touching at your heart. And just feeling yourself an open conduit. Like you've untangled the knots in the body, the knots in the mind, to just let that free flow of energy through you and through you around you. And namaste. Thank you all for your awesomeness.